Okay, hi, I'm finally here, I'm finally doing this. Yay! So, before watching this video, I recommend to watch the whole vlog I made like 2 months ago, so I'll link it on screen. So, I'm sorry I delayed this for 2 months. I'm really sorry, and it took me a long time to find a proper camera and properly film it because, I have school and stuff. Oh yeah, and so first of all, let me clear some things up. So, I am not a trainee, I don't work at KBS, I don't live in Korea, and I don't personally know BTS. So long story short, my mom has connections. Her friend's friend kind of managed all of this thing. Okay, so y'all want the full story, so I'll start from the very beginning. So my mom and I plan to go to Seoul since spring, during May, and my mom's birthday was on the 13th of May, the day I met BTS. And I didn't know that I was going to meet BangtanBoys like 10 minutes before meeting them. I had no idea that I'll be meeting someone this famous or meeting any K-pop K-idols. So yeah, but I kind of thought of something. So I planned on going to Seoul from the 8th of May to the 13th of May. So I chose a date specifically like that because that was BTS's promotional week right after their comeback, and they were having their concert in the Olympic Arena and stuff. So I knew that I was not going to meet them, so I just thought, it would be more fun to be there while their promotional week, and and there's merch and stuff. More merch will be released during that time, so anything could happen, right? It was a coincidence accidentally. My mom and I booked a tour at KBS privately. Her friend's friend managed it, and he said that he'll tour guide for us. But there are actually tours and VIP tours that exist at KBS where you can pay for it. But my mom did all this by her connections, and I was amazed. Oh my god, mom, you knew people in Korea. And yeah, and first we were planning to actually go to KBS on Wednesday, but somehow the date, he rescheduled it. The guy who was tour guiding us rescheduled it, and he moved it to Friday. So I was oh my god, that's Music Bank Day, oh my god. And then I saw the schedule of Music Bank on that day, and I saw BTS, 17 and stuff, but I did not think that I was going to meet them. I actually wanted to tour KBS to see what happens behind the scenes and what does the production team do, and visit the offices and visit the tutorials, just to see the process, the behind the scenes of Korean entertainment. And I'm really interested in showbiz and all that stuff. As you saw on my last video, I entered the fences, I guess, the place where the idols actually enter. There were two lines of people on both sides of the road, and we were walking in the middle of it, a bunch of netizens and paparazzi around us. And I was so confused. I was I don't know, it was a little bit shocked. I know nothing big was happening, but I was a little bit shocked. Oh yeah, and then on the 13th of May we were actually flying back to here to Mongolia in the evening at 7 or so. So we had our luggage. We checked out of our hotel. We were walking in the middle where K-idols supposed to be walking. And I was really shocked, and people were staring at us really weirdly. And plus I was vlogging with my green phone. So that happened. And then I meet the tour guide, and he was really nice. He worked at KBS. He asks me a question right away, and he asks so what bands do you like? And I'm what? And that was the first question he asked me, and I was what? And I was oh my god, okay, I'm gonna just say of course BangtanBoys, that they're my number one, even though I listen to a lot of other Korean boy bands, but still, I saw the schedule on that day, so I basically listed all of the bands that were going to perform on Music Bank that day. And then he goes do you want to meet them? And I was I was like speechless for like 10 seconds, and I was like, yes, of course. I was like, oh my god, can you do that? Do we have time? And like, can we like schedule around it and stuff? And how was like the time managing slots were like going, you know? I was really shocked at first because like what he was like making it not a big deal, but it was a really big deal for me. It was like life changing for me, I guess. So and I was like, yes, of course, I really want to meet them, but is this possible, you know? You know, their schedules can be really packed, and it was the last day of their promotional week of BTS's, and then tomorrow they're actually flying to Europe to film their Bon Voyage. Yeah, so, and I was like, yes, I really want to meet them. And then he was like, sure, I'll call up the manager, and he actually knows the manager. And he said like he's friends with them, and he said what, and I was like, how many times have you met BTS? And he was like, oh yeah, several times, and I'm really friends with V and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, he's even friends with the members. So he like takes me to like the stage building, I guess, like the building that contains the music bank stage. So like right after I enter, I have a clip. Before like that time, like meeting BTS, like BTS, you know, they're not just some rookie group now. Like they're like their schedules are packed, and they're like really hard to get to. So they were like a distant dream, you know. It was like impossible for me like to even imagine meeting them. I never even dreamed about it. Right after I entered the building, I was like actually realizing, you know, oh my god, this is actually happening, oh my god. And like, you know, y'all are fangirls, so you probably know the feeling. Well, not the feeling of meeting them, you know, the feeling of excitement. Right after I entered, the security guards just like said like, okay, no filming inside here, only like you can go in there and meet them and only take pictures with them, and no pictures outside of it, not at all, and you will be not allowed. And like, you know, they're really conservative about that stuff. I walked through the corridors of KBS, and like I saw the backup dancers. I actually didn't see the idols, you know, they don't just like walk, well they do walk around, but they were not there at the moment. All of them were like getting ready for the interviews, the radio shows, and like getting their makeup done. And it was around from 1 to 2 p.m. so it was also lunchtime. So I saw like Tiffany's backup dancers, they were like chilling, you know. And I was like, even like by seeing her backup dancers, I was like, oh my god, this is her like first solo stage. And then like after the tour guide like talked to the manager, and like he said, okay, so they're doing their makeup right now, and they'll be finished in 10 minutes, so you can go in and meet them. And I was like, bruh. 10 minutes were like good because it gives me time to like emotionally prepare, but at the same time like I could not wait. It was really hard. I was like contradicting myself. I was like panicking. I go into the stage area, like the music bag, and then they were building like Tiffany's like stage props and stuff, and her backup dancers were warming up. So like the seats are divided in two. So one area is like for fans to sit, you know, the lucky ones who got like, I don't know, they'll probably buy tickets or like win like lotteries and stuff. So there's a separated area. And so the other seats area is just like, you know, the backup dancers and the workers and the behind the scenes people, the crew sit. I was like sitting there, and he was like, okay, you can just watch Tiffany rehearse for now for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh my god. And then like Tiffany comes out, and the fans come out, they sit in their area, and like everyone's screaming, and Tiffany is like really chilling. She was like warming up. Sorry, I have a sore throat, please understand. Okay, so she rehearsed. I watched her stage. It was unbelievable. I was low-key dying, but I couldn't take any pictures or selfies or like anything. It was really hard. I was like fangirling really hard, even though I didn't meet BTS, you know. I was already fangirling, and the people that made me Meet BTS, they were like so chill, and they're always used to working with K-idols, you know. And I was already like screaming, and I was like sitting between like in the crew area, so everyone was so chill around me, but I was like exploding. My blood was like not running through my veins. It just felt like that. Right after Tiffany's rehearsals ended, the crew of Sister Slam Dunk comes in, and they were like people from another universe, man. Like their beauty, like they were so beautiful in real life, and then you could just like sense the aura that they were famous, okay? And I was like, girl, I was dying, I guess. I can't express myself. I just felt like I was dying inside. So I wanted to scream all the time, but it was really hard. I really held myself, and like I was like, calm down, Hussein, don't do anything crazy that you'll get kicked out. And then like they sit right in like at the back, like right like behind me, like on the row right behind me of the seats. Jessie, she sat like right behind me, and like she was like so chill. She was like screaming and like getting well, not screaming, you know, just kind of like making the fans hyped up, and the fans were screaming, and it was so fun, and the energy was like so good. And like she was like right behind me, and like she was like leaning on my seat and stuff, and I was like right in front of her, and I was like kind of looking at her, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is real and stuff. It was so surreal. But I couldn't take selfies. Like I could have taken a selfie because she was like right behind me, but I'd rather not risk it. So after sitting there for a few minutes, like the manager comes, and he was like, okay guys, come. And I was like, oh my god, is this time? And then just like I immediately stand up, of course, and go to their fitting room. You know what the fitting room at KBS that everyone, well not everyone, like most of K-idols wait and get their makeup done. I'm like walking through the corridor, and the door is right here. So like the door opens, and then I see like I immediately see Rapman sitting. He was like so chill. He was like on his phone. He had that turquoise hair going on. I was like, and then the moment I saw him, I was like, okay, no, wait. But I couldn't do that. I just kept walking, and then like the manager was like, okay, are you ready? And I was like, yes. And then I like prepared my phone and stuff, and then he mentioned like, okay, but one of the members are not here, and I was like, okay. I thought actually it was Jungkook, because he was like sick like right before, like on Wednesday on M Countdown, he wasn't there and stuff. He was sick, and I thought, okay, maybe Jungkook's sick and he didn't come today. But I entered with my mom and the guy. Well, the guy didn't really enter. He like already knows them. He's already chill. He's met them like several times, so he doesn't have to like meet them again, I guess. I go in. My jaw drops. I like cover my mouth because like my jaw was like on the floor, man. My eyes were like ready to come out. Okay, so this is the door, okay, and I'm like entering, and then there was a seat like along the wall. Then there were like mirrors here, and then like Jungkook was sitting right over on one seat, and J-Hope was like sitting here, and Jin and Jimin were sitting like on the couch thingy along the wall, and like Rapon was like sitting right in front of me on another chair, and V was like also standing near Rapmon. Okay, that moment was like so surreal, and the manager like came in and like kind of introduced, I guess, like this girl wants to meet you, and like she wants to take a picture. And right after I entered, all of them like stand up. They were like so nice. I like try to take in the moment, you know, because like meeting BTS was like a distant dream. It was not even a dream. I never even dared to dream that I was going to meet them someday. And then they like stand like in a semicircle right in front of me, and I like stood there like for a solid 10 seconds just like speechless. I couldn't do like anything, but I was like holding myself really badly because, you know, there are crazy fans who just like jump on them and like hug them and kiss them, but I can't do that. While I was like standing like this, they were like standing in a semicircle. So J-Hope, Jungkook, Rapmon, V, Jimin, and Jin. I like made eye contact with everyone. Like I remember that moment like frame by frame. Actually, I remember that day like frame by frame. And then like Jin was like the closest to me, and like his shoulders, man, y'all, like it was literally twice the size of me. Like I just couldn't take it in. While the 10 seconds I was like standing like this, like in shock, in utter shock, they were also like staring at me. All of them were like staring at me. It was so weird. They're like gentlemen, you know, they're waiting for me to do something. And I was like, okay, and then I just like, and it hits me, you know, like when all of them were like staring at me, I was like so insecure, and like, and it just hits me after a few seconds, like, oh wait, I gotta do something. So I like snap out of the shock and then kind of introduce myself. I exactly said, okay, I'm a big fan from Mongolia, and this is my first time in Seoul, and I'm really happy that I'm meeting you, and can I take a picture? I don't speak Korean, so I like kind of mostly approached Rakmon about this. Well, there were translators, but like I thought like speaking basic English was enough. And plus, I didn't even bother introducing my name because like my name is Mongolian, and they wouldn't. I don't think they would bother remembering my name. So I don't have a bias. Okay, it was really hard to choose. I tried to not to offend anyone. Like so, I like looked at all of them and I didn't know who to approach. So I just like stand in the middle. So I ended up between Jungkook and Rapmon. While I was like approaching Rapmon, he was like, first of all, he's like really tall. The only thoughts that can go through my head was like how insecure I felt. I think that was like the most insecure I felt in my whole life. And I was like, oh my god, thank god I did like proper makeup this morning. Oh my god, do I smell okay? Are my clothes okay? And stuff like that, you know. And I'm like wearing the exact same shirt I wore that day. Okay, so like this is me approaching, okay, and then Rapmal Loki like puts his like arm around me, but I had a bag, okay, I was like carrying a bag, so I didn't really feel it like directly on my back, you know, but I still felt like he was like doing this around me. I was like dying. Jungkook stands right here, and we also like stand in a semicircle in the small fitting room, their small makeup room, and then the lighting was so perfect, guys. Like it was like from the top, and Jungkook was like standing right here. Like I could like see him like right here, and he was wearing a white shirt. Okay, so. And it was like kind of low-key, like the collar was like around here, and the light was from the top, so his collar bones were like shining, and I could like low-key see his chest, and like the light was like coming from the top, and he had a white shirt, and like everything was so perfect. I was like, it was so hard to hold myself, you know. Well, and I like saw like Jin from there, and Jimin, like all of them were like staring into the camera from that moment. And then that was like the first moment like I looked at them and kind of tried to focus on them without them looking at me, because when they were looking at me it was like really hard to really pay attention to every single detail, I guess. So while they were looking away to the camera, I like looked at all of them, and y'all, all of them were so fine, you know. I like saw like Jimin's like eye contacts from up close, and V's eye contacts from up close, and Rapmon was like standing right here. He was like smiling. I saw his like chin from here. Even like their chin was like excited for me to look at, and like J-Hope was like really nice. Like his smile, I saw him. Okay, he was like standing right here, I guess, and like I saw him from the back, and y'all, it was too good. And like Jungkook was like doing this, they were like doing their signs and like this, and I was like the happiest. So I was so awkward. When Jungkook like made a peace sign, I was like, okay, I should make a peace sign too. And I was like awkwardly like smiles. It took all of my willpower like not to jump on them or like go hug them and stuff. So right after they take pictures, I like tell them that it was my mom's birthday. I kind of felt bad that I was like spending a whole day like having fun. I kind of felt that I was the only one having fun, but like on the picture my mom looks like she's more excited than me, but she was actually really excited, and I was really glad. And when I told them like it was my mom's birthday, all of them like went to her and like congratulated her and happy birthday, and oh yeah, and like Rapman was the first one to understand because he's like the best in English, you know. And then it always took like 5 seconds for the others to realize what was actually going on. Rapman was like suddenly happy birthday, and then I just like saw the shock and the confusion and the fear on like Jungkook's face. It was so funny. Like Jin and Jimmy, they were like, wait, what's happening? And then Rapman was like happy birthday to my mom, and it was so funny. And J-Hope was like really nice, like my Hosseok man. He was like, he like came up to my mom like several times and like touched her on her shoulders and said like, oh happy birthday, and I was like, oh my god. I was low-key jealous of her, but you know, she deserves it. Like, she's the best, man. After like getting a picture with them, okay, so like we're standing in a semicircle like this, and then after they congratulated and stuff, I like went to my first position. So we were again like in the same positions. Like I was like standing like 1 meter, like 1 to 2 meters apart from them, and they were all again standing in a semicircle, but this time they were like, you know, more chill, I guess, but they were still expecting something from me. So I like distanced myself immediately because I just couldn't, and I wanted to like stand a little farther away and like look at all of them and kind of appreciate each one of them. Not just, I just didn't want to just like, you know, keep standing next to like one of them, you know. So I say that like I'm really grateful, I'm really happy that I met you guys. I still can't believe this is happening. Like, this is the exact motions I did. And then I was like, I have a lot of friends back in Mongolia who listen to you guys. We always listen to you, we always stream, and we will be always supporting you. And right after I said that in English, like, Rappan was like, oh my god, he was so cool, oh my god. He was like, oh yeah, so he was like, you know, so I don't know, man. He was like, oh, thank you very much. And I was like dying, and all of them were like slowly realized what was happening. They also like, oh, thank you, and they were like did their small nods and small bows. And then right after all of them stopped saying thank you, Rapman comes to me. Like, he himself like came to me when I was trying to like low-key distance myself to like hold myself back, you know. And then he approached me with this hand to shake my hand, and like I think he did all the honor things when he like held his right hand with his left hand like this, and he like comes to me like this, and he was right in front of me. As he was approaching me, I was like getting more shocked and more surprised and more overwhelmed. It was so overwhelming. I like saw his hand right in front of me like this, and I low-key looked at his hand for like solid 2 seconds, and he was like wearing his ring and stuff, and I can't believe this is happening. He's approaching me, and like I get to touch his hand and stuff. I approach him, like, you know, also I just couldn't like go into the corner, I guess. So I like hold his hand, and I was holding his hand like my mom and the tour and the person that was like with us also took like the perfect picture, like right as I was holding his hand, like as I was shaking his hand. Right after that, I like kind of low-key like approached them and kind of, you know, like touched them, I guess. Like, this sounds so weird, but I gotta do that, like at least like seriously, you know. This is like a once in a lifetime chance, and I just like couldn't like go and jump on them. So I think that took like a solid 7 minutes inside, and then oh yeah, and then right after that I just like said, oh my god, you guys are surprisingly really tall. I don't know, like their height was in real life was like really not really surprising, but you know, it was like a new feeling because we always see them through a camera, right? And the cameraman usually like keep it on their like face level, so we can't really like compare our heights with them. So that was like the first thing I said. You guys are really tall, and even Jimin was really tall. Even though I'm kind of sure that he was wearing like those sneakers with a little bit of height. I'm like in centimeters, I'm like 170 normally, but I was wearing sneakers, so around I was like 172, I guess. But still, they were all tall, and it was like after they make up, they were like all looking so fine, and they had their contact lenses on. Okay, at first I think like Jungkook and Jin were the most confused. It was kind of funny. And I kind of noticed that V was, I didn't kind of notice, I actually noticed that V was really tired. It was really obvious, I guess. I could really see that he was tired, and it was during his Hwarang drama filming also. And remember, you know, he stayed one day behind the Bon Voyage trip to film to like wrap up his Hwarang thing, and I think it was a really tiring week for them. The makeup artists were like also there sitting, and they were like, oh my god, who are you? What? They were also confused, like, oh my god, who is this? Who are you? Like, because no fan, I guess, like goes into their fitting room, you know, to take pictures with them. I mean, that doesn't happen. It was kind of interesting to see, I guess. And then like did a full proper bow, like almost, you know, the 90-degree bow, and I was like, thank you so much. And plus, I didn't want to take a lot of time because it was during lunchtime, I guess. And I saw their like packed lunch like ready outside the corridor. Now outside in the corridor, like right outside their room. I was like, I even like looking at the food was like excited. Oh my god, this is the food they're going to eat. I didn't want to take that much time and like bother all of them, and I could have taken selfies with every single one of them, but I didn't. There are literally 5 photos that I took in there, so, and I don't know, I was busy. I couldn't just like whip out my phone and like film everything, you know. I was like living in the moment. I gave the responsibility of taking photos to the person who was like tour guiding us. Or to the person who like let us meet the tour guide, I guess. And also like before I entered, the manager warned like, okay, don't take like too long because we have an interview right after this and stuff. So yeah, I gotta respect the schedule. Like it was good enough if I could like meet them for 30 seconds, and I spent a solid 7 minutes inside there, probably around 10 minutes, and I don't remember like everything that I said to him. After finishing, I like bowed and said thank you, and I said like, you know, I will be always supporting you and stuff like that, and like thank you, and they were also like thank you and bowing, and right after I went out of the room, I was like fighting. I just did the heart sign. I was like fighting, and then I just like left. Well, like went out of the room. And it was so surreal. And then I met the manager, and like the crew was so chill. Like they're almost in their pajamas. They're like wearing their sweatpants and like in their flip-flops and stuff. Most like fancy people over there were like the idols itself, I guess. And the crew themselves are actually really chill people, and they're used to working with those people. And I thanked the manager a lot, and my mom also thanked him, because my mom thought that she was not allowed to go in there. Like she thought that I was only allowed to get in there and like meet them, but like the manager insisted that she went in, and he was like, oh, you can go in too, you can go in. And then right after I left, I was like, too bad like Suga wasn't there, you know, but it was like enough. But Suga wasn't there. But I didn't mention that when I was inside with them. I couldn't like start a conversation like, yo, what's up with Suga? Like, what's with Yoongi? Where is he? Like, you know, I thought he was in the toilet, but I still don't know to this day. I go out of their dressing room still in shock. My blood was like not running. It felt like my blood was like all drained out. All of my like energy drained out. I felt like an empty vessel. I don't know, I just like felt like that because like my life was complete. It was basically complete. And then I went back to the stage and back to the Sister Slam Dunk crew, and I was still in utter shock. My eyes were like wide open, my mouth was still wide open. I was like, I froze in the seat. I couldn't like thank the tour guide enough. He was so nice. Well, he doesn't work at KBS as a tour guide. He was just my tour guide. He does something else at KBS. I couldn't thank him enough. And like all of the people who like made this possible. And after like going around KBS for a few minutes, we like sat there at a cafe. And I was still in shock, man. And I was still talking about BTS. I still couldn't get over them. And right after, I checked like my SNS, updated their Twitter, and I was like, oh my god, I was just right there like a few minutes ago, and they were like eating the foods that was outside the corridor, and then suddenly Suga appeared, and I was like, boy, where were you? But it seemed like he was in a different room. Like, I still don't know why Suga wasn't there. I think he had something else. I think he was just in the toilet, because no one takes that long in the toilet. Okay, maybe he was in the toilet, but I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then when I was right about to leave, like the whole building of KBS, like went out the stage and like passed through the door of the fitting room where BTS was there, and I met V and Rapmon again, and they were like, hi, they were like nodded, and I was like, I died again, I died again. Yeah, that's the only way I can express myself. And I still couldn't like get over BTS again. And I just said like, thank you so much. And then he just sadly asks, do you have their album? And I was like, no. And he's like, do you want it signed? And I was like, yes, again. Like, it was like the moment when he asked me like, do you want to meet BTS? And I was like, oh my god, yes, of course. And he's like, okay, I can talk to the manager. I think he might get it for you. And I was like, oh my god, can you really? But at that time, they were already in an interview, so the manager said that, okay, I can get it for you in today, but like after their interview, so can you wait until 5 and stuff? Until Music Bank begins. To get a sign, he even asked my name, like the manager asked my name. He was like, wait, I think it should be like only for her and stuff, and I think you should like write her name, and then I like type in my name. My mom and I had to leave at like 4, like a few minutes, like 4:30 and stuff, because we had our flight at 7 back to Mongolia. And we also had the chance to watch Music Bank though on that day. Unfortunately, the flight schedule didn't go as planned. Well, it went as planned, and unfortunately we had to fly back and go to the airport and not be late to our plane. If I stayed there, I think I could have met 17 too. I also stand them, so. Everything aside, I think that day ends. I think I said everything, I guess. I looked at the questions to like see if I missed any major points, so how they smelled. Okay, yeah. So the first thing I noticed when I entered the room was like also the smell, and it smelled good. Yeah, it smelled good. I think it smelled a little bit peachy, lemony, citrusy kind of smell. But it was their makeup room, so maybe it was like their makeup product smelling. But I couldn't like go up to them, like stand like next to them and like smell them. I didn't do that. No, sorry. Like that night I couldn't sleep. And like even in the plane I was like dying. I was still listening to 방탄소년단. And right after you meet them, and on the way back I just kept listening to them, and it feels like so different, because if you met them, and I don't know, like the way I approach their music is somehow different now. It feels more close, I guess. It was more distance before. I don't know, it was like really weird, and it was like more personal. It felt more personal for me to listen to their music again. My life is complete, And one major reason that I kept delayed this video for so long was that I wanted to show this. I finally got here. It took, okay, so it was May, so it took like 7 months to come here. It just came here a week ago. It just took a long time for the album to go through a lot of people to come to me. It has like 2 huska and stuff. And this is not for sale. This one is not for sale. And I posted all of the pictures on my social media accounts. I link all of my social media down below, and ask me more questions if you want. I'll answer anything if I left it out.
And thank you for watching.
Water. I made more ARMY friends through this experience, and it was really fun. And I have a bigger community to share my experience, and they're like with you guys. Oh yeah, so it was kind of funny because I went to Korea kind of sick. I think I had a little bit of fever and stuff. I'm really prone to food poisoning, so on that day, Friday morning, I couldn't actually like, get out of my bed. I was like hugging the toilet. Okay, too much detail, but still, I gotta say this. My mom was like, okay, just stay here and rest. Let's just stay today in the hotel, and we'll cancel the KBS thing today, and we'll just like catch our flight in the evening. And I was like, no. I was not missing a day at KBS. Even though I didn't know that I was going to meet anyone special, but it was still interesting for me. I really wanted insight, and I was like, no mom, I'm going to KBS no matter what. I can like do this. I think I made a really good decision in that day in the morning. I came to Mongolia. I didn't eat for 4 days. Like my appetite was gone, man. Didn't eat a proper meal for 4 days. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I just couldn't. It was literally life-changing and so shocking.